Hi guys, and welcome back to FPL Journey. If you're here, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out with trying to grow this channel. So I'm just going to talk about how we did in game week 13. A lot of the midfield kind of blanked, and so did the defence really. It was only Haaland, Mitrovic and Ward who got me any sort of hauls. Unfortunately, I had 16 points in the bench with Andreas and Williams, who could have played, but at the end of the day I had made informed decisions to make the players play who I felt would do the best, and unfortunately I was wrong, and that happens. But you had to think that Liverpool would do well against Nottingham Forest, so playing Nico Williams instead of Salah would have seemed unconventional, but actually would have given you 4 points extra. And also, we didn't know that Foden was going to be benched in the Man City game. He hadn't been benched hardly any of the season. As we can see, he's played at least 45 minutes up until that week, but he only got 28 points coming off the bench. So, you know, there's not much we can do about Pep Roulette in that situation, but if he had stayed off the pitch, it would have been so good, because it would have got 10 points from Andreas, but it wasn't meant to be. So 52 points. It was a red arrow. Unfortunately, I went down to 28,637. So, I mean, I'm still doing okay, but not as good as I was, because I feel like it was like top 10k or something. I wonder how I see my game week history, I can't remember. But hey ho. So on to this week. The main talking point is Haaland, are you going to be injured? So Pep had his press conference earlier, and he said, as we can see on Fantasy Football Hub, he said Haaland had been suffering from fever, tiredness and a knock to his foot, meaning he had to be substituted during the break. The Spaniard was not able to give an opinion on the seriousness of Haaland's injury, although noted the Norwegian was out on the pitch, walking more or less quite good after the game. In the press conference, he said a final decision on whether Haaland would feature against Leicester would be made after training later in the day, and he feels better, but we're training this afternoon and we will assess in a few hours. So I feel like Guardiola is keeping his cards close to his chest. He's not really giving much away. He did say if he's ruled out, Julian Alvarez would come in. And I mean, honestly, if Haaland is out for any period of time, Julian Alvarez would be an unbelievable pick, because I feel like whoever is up front in that City team will get goals, and Alvarez has already proven his worth in doing that. And then the other big player who we're all waiting on news on was João Cancelo. Cancelo was also substituted first half in the Dortmund game. Cancelo had been pictured training with the squad, and Guardiola indicated to everyone that he trained well, but he would have to wait until the final training session to see how everyone was feeling. So again, it's kind of the same situation. Guardiola is keeping his cards close to his chest, but he's probably okay. So thoughts for this week. I mean, there's a real thought of bringing in Jesus. They have Nottingham Forest and Wolves in the next 3 before the World Cup, but the problem is next week's fixture is a fixture against Chelsea, which is obviously difficult. So at the moment, my thoughts are to actually roll the transfer. Jesus is also on 4 yellow cards, which makes things a little bit sticky, because you bring him in and then he gets suspended. With the yellow card in the Forest game, it would be a little bit awkward, because you'd just have to transfer him straight out. And well, to be honest, with Tony having the Nottingham Forest fixture next week, I would probably just get him in. So my plan is to roll this week. I feel like next week with Mitrovic having Man City and Man United, I feel like I might take a 2-week punt on someone like maybe Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He has fixtures against Leicester and Bournemouth in that time. There's also, you could go for Callum Wilson, but he has fixtures against Southampton and Chelsea, and I feel like that Chelsea fixture is going to be a bit more difficult, but you never know. That Southampton fixture is definitely worth, having him in for, but I mean, it's difficult to talk about having someone long term whenever we have effectively a wild card. And yeah, it's difficult to know what I might do. I might just take Mitrovic out next week and put him in for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I feel like, it's maybe a bit of a punt, but I feel like he's good fixtures and it would only be a 2-week punt. And then I'll probably reassess, see how things go, see if I have any other injuries. But probably in the last game week before the World Cup, Tony has Man City, so I'm thinking, I might take him out and replace him for someone that has an easier fixture. But we'll just wait and see what happens. At the moment, I'm rolling. The place where I see that I would like to make transfers is probably my defence more so than anything. Or is the possibility of bringing in Saka, maybe. But that would mean taking Salah out. And well, Leeds, Tottenham, Southampton, although Salah hasn't been playing particularly well, I mean, those 3 fixtures are pretty decent, and I would expect Salah to get at least 1 return during those 3, so I'm thinking of just holding them till the World Cup and seeing what happens. But again, who knows, my mind might change. So setting up for this game week, I am going to pick team. I'm going to leave Haaland as my captain, and I'm going to put Martinelli as my vice. I feel like that fixture against Nottingham Forest is too juicy. So if Haaland doesn't play, Martinelli will be captain. If I hear early team news that Haaland isn't going to play, I might play it safe and go to Salah, because I feel like that's what the majority of managers will do. But I could go Martinelli, I could go Mitrovic even, I could go Zaha. There's so many players who I could do, but Man City is the early game, so I'm hoping for early team news tomorrow morning before I lock in my team for final. So yeah, that's my thoughts coming into this game week, and I'm just hoping that I will get a green arrow and move me back up the ranks, even though I'm doing pretty well, 28,000. I think if you can stay within the top 100,000 and be there at the end of the season, game week 38, I think I would be pretty chuffed with that. So I just want to consistently get decent points and continue to move on. If you like this video, please like it, obviously, and please subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that, and follow along on my FPL journey. Thanks for joining. Peace.